One summer when I was in elementary school, a friend and I formed the Bug Savers Club. Now, as I remember, the main activity of our club was scooping out any insects that fell into the neighborhood pool and placing them carefully onto the grass so that they wouldn't drown. Now, I was always, as a child, fascinated by insects and their different shapes, their different colors. And I know that this may not be the case for all children. Some children are fascinated by insects, but others might run away in fear. Others might have that initial instinct to squash the bugs. Um, Hello, I'm Nicole Dravillas-Fravel, and this is Wildwood Teaching. And as we are hitting the warmer spring months, and insects are going to be a reality if you are teaching outside. So I want to spend a little bit of time talking about how to work with these creatures, how to live with them, how to um, prevent them from ruining the outdoor play, how to help children become less frightened of them, and obviously what to do if children are squishing the bugs. So first, let's talk about possible fear of insects. In every group of children I have had, there is at least one who reacts to any small insect by running away or screaming or just standing stock still, paralyzed with fear. But insects are everywhere, they're unavoidable outside. So we have to help children find a way past their fears. So we've got some tips. First, modeling. This one is easy for me because I don't have to fake it. I enjoy insects. But for those of you who are not in that camp, just be aware of how you are interacting with insects. Make sure you're calm. Be aware of the language that you are using, both in the moment and to describe insects. Talk about everything that might be different and fascinating about them. Go ahead and let an insect crawl on your sleeve. You're going to want to do this gently and slowly with children. We're not throwing them into the deep end of the pool type of thing. We want to introduce maybe through photographs or a picture book or nonfiction texts about insects so that you are familiarizing them with the insect world in a way that feels safe and removed from them. You might also have toy insects, little acrylic bugs that children can play with that will help them to role play a little bit their reactions when insects are coming around. You can take the time to help children learn about the insects, share facts about insects, talk about their role in our ecosystem. Because the more children know how important bees are to flowers, to things that we eat like honey, to being a food source for other larger animals that might also be important to humans, the more they can appreciate the role that insects play in our world. And also, the more knowledgeable you are about something, the more it empowers you. So children can feel like, I know this now, and therefore I can feel safer to interact with them. You can also go one more proactive step, because another way to help children feel empowered is through a project. that is meant to help insects thrive. You could create a bug hotel. You could involve the children in planting pollinators. You could engage them in some sort of citizen science like a backyard bee count, or tracking fireflies, so that they are then, right, thinking, oh, this is a creature that I'm helping, therefore I can feel more comfortable around it. So those are just four simple ways to start getting children comfortable with insects. But obviously, I'm not going to ignore the fact that they can absolutely be a nuisance, especially if you are in a situation where preschoolers are eating snack or eating lunch outside and they're bothered by flies crawling all over their food or the bees circling around because they're smelling the food. And so my next little sets of tips are how to create an insect safe, at least maybe small corner or portion of your outdoor classroom. And my biggest tip is going to be to avoid standing water. That is a huge attractor for insects. So make sure that you are fully emptying your water table. Make sure you are taking care of any puddles that might develop. You're also going to want to control any plant litter because, again, that's going to attract insects. So if you have older vegetables, fruits in your garden that need to be picked or that have already rotted and need to be taken to the compost pile, um, rotting leaves that may be under a tree, rake them up. Um, Put them off to the side. If you have a compost pile that is attracting bugs, they're going to stay away from food because the compost pile is big enough to be a more uh, potent draw for them. You might also find a way to encourage bug eaters to come into your space. So, involving the children in building bat houses or having a bird feeders, then you're going to attract the animals that are going to eat the insects. Last tip, just like the compost pile, actively convince the bugs to go elsewhere. So find a corner where it's far away from your snack lunch eat area, and plant lavender, plant sunflowers, something that is going to have the pollen or the nectar that insects are attracted to. Have a shallow dish of sugar water next to it, or orange peels. And that's going to draw the bugs away from the area where you currently want to be with the children. All right, so now you've desensitized the children a little bit to the presence of insects. You've given them somewhere else to be. What do you do when a child squishes a bug? Because it is going to happen. So I'm going to say number one, work to contain your reaction. Just because a 3-year-old squishes a bug, it does not mean they are going to grow up to be a serial killer. I might have seen family members squishing a bug inside. They are not old enough to think about the differences between mom or dad squishing an ant inside or taking care of a hazardous, poisonous spider and the harmless bug that is in its natural habitat outside. It might just be imitating behavior. You're going to react calmly, matter of factly. I usually say something like, oh, we take care of all of the small creatures here at Wildwood Nature School. Or, We are so much bigger and stronger than the bugs that we want to be their protectors. We want to take care of all of the creatures that are smaller than we are. And then those same strategies that you use to help children get over the fear of bugs are also going to help them stay away from squashing the bugs. First of all, because another reason children might be squashing the bugs might not be learned behavior. It might be because they are afraid and are reacting in fear, but also because when you understand more about something, you appreciate something more, that's going to foster empathy. And clearly, those proactive steps you're taking to take care of insects are also fostering empathy. And the more children care about something, the more they will take care of it and be careful around it. And you could, yes, use those toy bugs to role play a little bit of gentle touching. But I tend to take a hands-off approach to all wildlife with children, in that we do not touch any wildlife without the explicit permission and supervision of an adult. First of all, this is for the children's safety, right? I let the children know we don't know how wild animals are going to react to us. And if they are scared, they might respond in a lot of the ways that we respond when we're scared. And so approaching a wild animal is not something that we are going to do for our own safety. We don't know how they're going to react. We don't know if that particular animal is safe to touch, but it's also for the safety of the animal. So when children are handling an animal, they could hurt it, right? Or much worse, just from an animal being scared of us touching it. Um, so we're only touching even the smallest creatures under the supervision of adults, and usually with some tools. Right? If you have bug nets, if you have magnifying glasses, if you have bug catchers, if you are even using twigs or leaves as your scooping tool, and something to safely view it. So I hope I gave you some ideas for how to coexist with the insects outside as the spring and summer approach and they become more prevalent. There are ways to help children deal with their fears, ways to make insects less of a nuisance outside, and approaches to stopping the squashing. Um, so get out there, enjoy all of the mini beasts, and then join me next year for another episode of Wildwood Teaching when I will be talking about larger animal families that you might want to explore in the spring. I will see you there.